Hello, baby.
Hello, nasty.
Hello there. Hello.
I say hello.
Hello, friend.
Well, hello, little girl.
Hello, my treacherous friends.
Hello, operator.
The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
Hey everybody, it's the Brink of Aggravation podcast, episode 254. Feels like 798. John from Random Ass Radio was supposed to join us, but we had 40 minutes of technical difficulties, and now we're doing a show. I usually do the show through a paid, people donated to the show, and we got the paid version of Ustream. So I turned it on. It says, "Do you want to upgrade to the newest version?" So I said, "Okay." And I downloaded it, and they gave me the newest version, but gave me the free version and want another $300 for the paid version. So I just wrote them a very angry email. But now we get to have a single cam show, and I don't get to crop the video because I usually crop out towels and fans and stuff in the background, and I can't do that now. So enjoy the messy room that I'm recording in, and let's do the show.
Yeah, the show will be. This will be the free version of the show as opposed to the paid version of the show. It'll be much worse. Hopefully they get back to you. Hopefully
they'll get back to me. I'll email them every fucking day until they do.
I feel like customer service, like the whole like new economy 2.0, whatever it's called now, like customer service is terrible.
I will write them the nastiest Yelp review they have ever seen.
The like Time Warner, I hated. You call customer service, and they may have incompetent customer service, but they would answer the phone and like they would try to help you. I feel like, well, obviously, like Facebook, any Gmail, you can't really call up customer service to like go, "Hey Google, I'm having problems with Gmail." But things that you pay for, I used to use Zipcar. You know what Zipcar is?
That's like the little mini tiny car, right?
No. Zipcar is a car sharing service. We rent a car per hour. When I lived in the city, instead of owning a car, I'd rent a car per hour. It made sense.
What's the little baby car that looks like a death trap on wheels?
Baby Car, brought to you by babycar.com. We're trying to kill as many people as possible.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no clue.
You know that little like Herbie car?
I know what you're
Buggy.
talking about. There was a small car. It looked like I could literally push it over.
Basically, it's like you're just driving in a front seat. I don't even know where the engine is. It looks like there's no room for an engine. There's no back seat. There's no trunk. It's just this tiny little car that looks like a bicycle would smash it to pieces.
Well, I don't know if you could rent that by the hour. I think that's more of a you buy the death trap.
Mm-hmm.
This is a regular car, like a Nissan Sentra, whatever it was.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
There was a car. Anyhow, I'd call up Zipcar with like a problem, like say, "Hey, I showed up for Zipcar and your car's not there," and they'd be like, "Why the fuck are you calling me?" You'd be like, they wouldn't say it exactly, but the person, they'd have 22-year-old people who were so goddamn annoying to deal with, who'd be like, "I work customer service, but I'm going to try to make it in the movie industry." Like, just people like that who felt like they were too important for the jobs. And you're like, "Hey, Dick, I'm the customer. You fucked up. You have to do something now to make me happy. You can't just be like, oh, the car looks, came here and the car is destroyed, basically. I'm going to drive this." You can't be like, "Oh, we'll take care of that later." You have to say, "Hey, we're going to give you something financial compensation. Like you get the next 3 hours of your drive free to make up for the fact that we're fucking incompetent." I had the one that drove me insane. I showed up and the car I rented, like newer cars, you can see how many miles of gas you had left.
No.
Have you driven a car recently? You can imagine, say, being in a car, and instead of just seeing the thing that goes FE, full or empty,
Yep.
They actually give you how many miles are left. You can imagine that, okay? This technology has existed for maybe 10 years now. Or I don't know how long it's existed. I made that number up. Anyway, so I look at the number, I get in the car. I'm in the middle of New York City. You know how easy it is to find gas station in New York City, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's like at least two.
Yeah, so I had taken off at work. It was my son's first birthday. I was going to drive to my sister's so he can hang out with his cousins on his birthday. This was like we had a birthday party separate to this, whatever. I get in the car. It says like 4 miles. And there's no other Zipcar. And I have to basically find a gas station within 4 miles or start destroying my son's birthday.
Is the Zipcar place, like
It's just it's not a place. They leave them in like regular parking lots.
I was gonna say, is it near a gas station?
No, I somehow made it in time for a gas. Like I made it like right basically on empty basically and filled it up and everything was fine, but it was super stressful finding a gas station in New York City and like it was awful. I call up Zipcar and they're like, "Oh, we're sorry. We'll talk to you're supposed to when you leave the car, leave at least a third of a tank."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, we'll talk to the previous user and tell them not to do that again." And I'm like, I don't give a shit if you fucking execute the previous user. I want the fucking you ruined my fucking son's birthday or ruined my day or just made it an awful start because I spent the first like it was just an awful way to start the day. I'm like, I want fucking compensation for this because that's what fucking you do in America. You want to fuck people over, you have to pay for it on your end. And the person was like, well, like this is like just like a car sharing co-op, and like like those kind of things that kind of happen. I'm like, no, you have hundreds of millions of dollars in venture financing. You're a giant company, asshole. And eventually, I got the day free.
I mean, isn't it also their job to make sure when you return the car that the car has gas in it?
They said they're like, well, we don't have the technology to make sure there's gas in the car.
We don't
And I
have
was like,
eyeballs to look at the meter.
well, they're in a parking lot. They're in like any of those garages in the city. And I was like, oh, you know what? When I park the car, there's a guy, an attendant working there. You could pay him to make sure I don't get fucked. How about that? All he has to do is look at the gas tank when he's parking the car.
None of that makes any sense to me.
So there was like, well, we don't have the technology. I was like, fuck. I was angry enough, and eventually I got the. But it should be like
I just find it funny they say they need technology to see if there's gas in a car, where like I've been renting U-Hauls for like 20 years, and they seem to be able to figure out and charge me if I didn't put enough gas in the car.
Yeah, and also they have a thing on the car. They have like this thing that they can tell where the car is, if the car's on or off. They have this little thing, a little box on it. I'm like, maybe that box should have the technology to see how much gas is in the damn car.
You don't need technology. There's a meter in the goddamn car. You look in the window.
That's the one thing. I fucking hate Time Warner. But if they call Time Warner with this, they'd be like, we fucked up. We'll figure it out. It wouldn't have taken so long to go from like, hey, we're just gonna be assholes about it for the next half hour to like, here we'll compensate you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on. Are you still want to bitch about Ustream fucking you over?
No, I'm done with Ustream.
Maybe Ustream will hear this podcast and they'll just send you They'll send you a check.
I saw the Secret Service yesterday.
You did?
Yeah. I was in Central Park, and there was probably 50 Secret Service guys running around.
I have a question for you about the Secret Service.
What, they told me to catch Pokemon somewhere else.
Is that true? They really said that to you?
Yeah.
Was Hillary there or Trump?
They told me it was the I forget his title of Israel, the Grand Pumbaa of Israel.
Netanyahu.
Whoever the leader.
The UN is like in session. That's why.
Yes. So whoever the
prime minister. I think it's Netanyahu.
Yes.
I have a question for you. So related topic. Do you think LeBron James or just the New York Knicks should they wear suits when they play basketball?
No.
Like a nice like 3-piece suit. Like should they look good when they're playing basketball?
No.
Why not?
Because you can't do anything in a suit.
Really? Can you protect the president? Why the fuck did the Secret Service wear a suit? Like the least.
That's a really good point. If they have to run around, you'd want them in more like clothes that like move around with you. Yeah.
I want them in a fucking tracksuit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's you know why presidents get shot? Because these guys aren't wearing tracksuits.
That is a great point.
My first point. Hillary should make it the debate. She's like, my first point is the Secret Service going forward will wear tracksuits because them dressing like very formally is idiotic. There's nothing like how you're immediately making them worse at helping you.
That is true. I
Why
never
the fuck
thought of
do
it
they
that
do
way.
that? You should have asked them when they say like, I'm gonna find Pokemon. At least I'm dressed for finding Pokemon, asshole.
Yeah. So they diverted me from the spot I was trying to get to.
So we're talking about.
They owe me a
we've asked-
Charizard. God damn it.
We've asked our listeners this week to ask us about financial advice. I'm not sure why we're not qualified to give financial advice. That's what message making funny.
I
But
saw Weird Al yesterday.
You saw who?
Weird Al.
Oh, was the Secret Service with him too?
No, but it was amazing.
He performing?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw. I saw on Facebook you posted something about Weird Al, but I thought you were just got tickets for the show or something.
No. I saw him, and it was way better than I thought it was going to be.
What new songs is he making fun of?
He did well. First of all, he does a polka medley of all the new pop songs.
Okay.
I posted a link on Facebook. It's hilarious. He did Word Crimes, which is blurred lines, and it's all about people who don't know how to post online and don't know the difference between your, and that one was really funny.
You posted all this on Facebook?
I posted the polka medley.
Okay.
But I mean, you could look up Word Crimes and the video's right there. What else did he do? There was one or two I didn't know, so maybe they're like really new songs.
It's as cheesy as those things are. I kind of never get tired of like good, bad parodies.
Yeah, no, it was done really well. He changes between every act, so every song. So in between songs, they have like video montages of things he's done. I didn't know he was like on so many shows and made so many appearances and stuff. So that was fun.
There was something I forget. It was like maybe an interview with him. I forget what it was, but he was saying how like every time he breaks out a record, they say Weird Al's making a comeback, and he's like, "Comeback? What the fuck are you talking about? Every one of my records sells. There's no comeback. I just took time in between releasing my records."
Right, exactly.
It's like they assume after each record that he'll never perform again.
Well, what I wanted to tell you is after the show, I went to Five Below. Have you heard of that?
Oh, I've always, in theory, been interested in going to. So why don't we tell people what it is first,
Yeah.
Jay? Since you were there.
So that is a bar that is literally 5 below Celsius, and the walls, the ceiling, even the cups they give your drinks in is all made of ice. Everything's ice. Yeah. So when you buy a drink, they actually pour it into a cup that's 100% ice.
How do you? Because it's not that cold out, and you're not traveling around in a snowsuit. Do they give you like a jacket to wear? Or what would you wear?
They give you a coat.
Okay.
But apparently, if you want a coat that actually keeps you warm, you have to pay more money, because I just got the $20 coat. And
you had to pay $20 for the coat?
it's $20 to walk into the place, whether
Okay.
you want the coat or not. The coat
Okay.
the coat comes with the. I figured it's 5 below. I should probably wear the coat.
It's also fair enough. Like that's the whole like. It's not like you're going to that bar being like, I'm going to hang out here for the day and have a lot of drinks. The entire thing is like checking out the fact that it's 5 below. Like it's $20. Your entertainment is seeing the bar.
Pretty much, yeah. I went in there and some girl had the actual like warm coat on, and she's like, "Can we switch to see it like if your coat is like a lot less warm?" And I was in like a t-shirt and shorts, so I switched coats, and I'm like, "Oh, you're really lucky because your coat actually keeps you warm. This fucking sucks." So you get a package, 2 drinks, 2-drink package,
Oh.
which was $40.
Oh, okay.
So it's
That's
not
fair.
cheap. But I got in there and I'm like, I need to chug these drinks because this is terrible and I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you how the experience was. I always thought about like it'd be kind of cool to check out, but but then I'm like, like how cool really? Like it's like you walk in there, like I assumed I would want to walk out pretty fast.
Yeah, you walk in there and you're like, oh, I'm freezing my ass off. This sucks. I sat on like they had a big ice like throne, so I sat on the throne. They have somebody taking pictures, so I did a stupid pose.
No one's hanging out in there, I assume. Everyone's just coming in there for the experience of like checking it out and leaving, right?
I think so. I went in there and there was like 20 people in there, and after my first drink, like they were all gone and there was a new group of people in there. Like nobody stays more than, like
Okay, it's not like, hey, let's go to 5 Below and spend the night there.
I think it was a very social place. Like I talked to every single person in there, which is weird for a New York bar.
That's bizarre for a New York bar, actually.
But most of them were actually almost all of them were out of towners.
And they were all probably talking about like the place. No one was like, hey, what do you do for a living? It was more like, oh, this is cool. I'm warm, or like,
Yeah,
wow,
I mean, like everyone had a pretty much the same story. It was like one person from New York who was showing their out of town friends this bar. That was like every story.
Where is it, in the 50s?
Yeah, it's like 52nd and 5th or 6th, something like that.
Yeah, I've walked by it, but I've never been in it.
Mm-hmm.
I do
Okay.
kind of want to check it out, but I don't know how much I really care.
Yeah, only go if like your friend comes and he's like really wants to check out like a weird bar.
Okay, well, so I guess I'm never going to see it then, because I'm not going to have a weird friend that wants to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, we could get on with the show.
so, have you heard of Quora? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but
Quorum.
Quora.com?
Hmm?
What?
Quorum?
What do you? Not Quorum. Quora.com.
No.
Okay. So it's this website. And it's not that important to what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But it was started by some guy at Google. And basically, it's this thing where people ask questions and people answer the questions. And they're all different types of things. And it's like they have like famous people answer questions on there, really like people who are like big time in their field. And I get like the email where they give you like a bunch of questions they've asked. And people ask questions about everything from like what's it like to work at Google to what's it like to I don't even know, but all kinds of types of like people ask questions about life experience or what's it like to what's the smartest thing anyone's told you, what's a life hack. Anyway, someone asked the question. It's a pretty interesting website, but anyway, someone asked the question, what do you do and how much do you make?
Mm-hmm.
And so a bunch of people posted on there, and I think anyone can actually answer it, but a bunch of people posted on there and they said like, here's my job and what I make, and they told a little about it. For whatever reason, everyone that seemed to answer the question seemed to make north of $100,000. Like a lot of people were like multimillionaires. I'm like, either people are lying or a third of the country is multimillionaires.
Well, you're not going to answer the question if you make like $25,000.
A couple people answered. They were like, "It seems like everyone here is rich, but I make $30,000 doing this." One of the answers, and this is why I'm mentioning in the first place, was, "What do I do for a living? I'm a video editor, and I make $185,000 a year."
Was that real?
I mean, there's no verifying it, but that's what the guy said. He also went on to how him and his wife had started some other business, and he was leaving that job. But he was doing video editing on major motion pictures, or a company that did promotion for major motion pictures. I forgot. I was going to save the. It didn't even matter. It just it just started off with, I'm a video editor. I make $185,000 a year.
So not only did he have my dream job, he almost triples my salary.
He has your dream job. He's crushing it. He's what you could have been, Jay.
Yeah. Another.
How's your studying for the CFA exam going? Is that worthwhile? Over being a video editor? Because I don't know if it is, actually.
I ordered a new book and it came in today, so I had fun reading that today.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, good times.
You should try turning that into a video and editing it and make $185,000 doing that.
Speaking of video editing, when people do Facebook videos and they do it's like a monologue video, have you noticed that they make a cut after every single sentence? Like every popular YouTuber does that, and it drives me up the wall. I don't know why they do it. It's terrible to watch. It's annoying.
You're talking about like people that like where everyone like they get lots of followers and they're doing these people that get millions of followers and everything they're saying is like it's like they a literal, when you're saying a cut, like a literal, like they're changing. How do you explain it?
Like they say a sentence, and then there's like a quick cut, and then they say the next sentence, but it's still them in the same place in the same room. They just make a cut after every sentence.
It somehow makes it look like more hip. I mean, I don't think it actually accomplishes this.
I hate it. It's. I think it's like the worst thing.
Well, someone did this at some point, and it's kind of like it looks kind of cool to a certain extent. It doesn't look terrible, but it was like if you see it once, you're like, oh, that's kind of a nifty way to do it. It makes it look a little edgy. But now you're right. Every video does it. I mean, it's unbelievable, actually. It's kind of just really annoying because it should be like they're changing perspective. Something is changing. They're changing nothing, basically.
I find it distracting and aggravating, actually. There was one guy, I was watching one guy's video, and it was actually a really funny video, and Mark left the room, so I'm going to talk anyway. It was actually a really funny video, and all I could focus on was the fact that he kept cutting it after every sentence. Yes, so let's
Tell me when you record again.
I am.
Okay, I don't know what your thought was, but video editing, changing it. So just now, so my son has once. So I'm doing it in the office in our house, and my son and all the other bedrooms are up here also. And my son
All the other bedrooms.
There's 4 bedrooms, a 4-bedroom house. There's nothing crazy about a 4-bedroom house. Oh well, I'll answer your financial questions and tell you how you can get a 4-bedroom house. Anyway, so I just he once like did sleepwalking. Like he never really like a couple times. Sometimes he was talking in his sleep, and once he was walking in his sleep, and I kind of had to just direct him back to his room. And we have a gate in the stairs. I always make sure the gate's closed just to make sure like he doesn't walk in his sleep and like fall down the stairs. And I just heard like running in the hallway, and it was clearly him running in the hallway. And he's been asleep for like an hour and a half, so I was wondering why the hell he was running. I think he went to the bathroom, and then I came there. I was like, "Are you okay? Did you go to the bathroom?" And he's like, "Daddy, I changed my mind. I don't want ice." And I'd given him a piece of ice with a paper towel because he wanted ice when he went to sleep 2 hours ago, and he handed me that back to me. He's like, "I don't want the ice."
Yeah, I'm glad that got cleared up.
Yeah, well, I get worried. You hear him running when he's supposed to be asleep, and I get worried. But anyhow, so the ice. So he may have gone to the bathroom, but the ice he no longer wants after waking up in the middle of the night.
Cool.
But apparently he was holding onto this ice. Anyway, so I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If say you were a video editor making $185,000 doing it, would you do those jump cuts?
Absolutely not.
Well, maybe that's why you're not in the profession, Jack. I think this is I think you're just being kind of sore because you don't understand. If you had entered the field and you were wildly successful, I take your opinion on this. Like, it would have a lot more weight behind your opinion.
I have integrity. I'm sticking with it.
We should get to the questions. We've got a bunch of questions, but I thought this is something very important. Also, we should talk about.
Okay.
Tomorrow night First of all, I'm as excited as it might as well be the goddamn Super Bowl. I'm so excited to see Trump and Hillary debate. You know they're debating tomorrow night. You should know they're debating tomorrow night because you're supposed to be in the debate, Mr. President. Almost.
I should be in it. I mean, it's rigged. What can I say?
Are you excited to watch them debate?
Yeah, actually, I think it's going to be funny. I think it's going to be sort of ridiculous. I know everyone thinks that Hillary's like dying of Parkinson's and isn't going to like even last the debate, but I think that's kind of.
They say 100 million people are going to watch this. This is like Super Bowl numbers. Though I am. They're not everyone's watching the same channel. But I think the record they said was around 80 million people are watching when Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter debated back in 1980. But this should be anyway. So
you have to have a TV or movie star to get popular debate rating.
Yeah, that's what they said. Because everyone wanted to see what Reagan was like, a former movie star. So
was Reagan a better actor or president? I think he was shitty at both.
I don't know. I didn't see his movie work, so I don't know if he was shitty at both. I only know.
Shitty Western B movie.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be like a major. It wasn't like the modern day like Brad Pitt being president. It was more like the modern day.
You know, there's an episode of All in the Family where you know how Archie always, argued with his
Meathead
son-in-law. Yeah, Meathead. Well, one of them, as they were leaving, said, "I hope you get Reagan as president," and slammed the door, and everyone laughed. That was a real episode.
Because it was shot prior to Reagan being president.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. So anyhow, I thought we got to kickstart your campaign. You should be in the goddamn.
I should. This is a travesty.
So I'm gonna put out a. I'm gonna make a So I'm supposed to be your VP. I'm supposed to give a message also. I have some ideas for your candidacy to kind of get your name in the.
Well, it's our candidacy, really. I mean, you are my.
It's VP. Yeah. We're doing this together. So, if Mr. Brink Sanity is elected, so one of the things going on in our country seems to be a lot of black people are being shot by cops, and also I've noticed when white people say the word black people, they whisper. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I noticed maybe like a tired stereotype, but a girl at work said like, I don't know what she was even talking about, but she had a whisper when she said black people. It was maybe like a TV program or something. And I'm like, Do you really have to? Like, is it just racist to say the word black person?
Do you have to whisper the name Blackish when you talk about that show the next day?
I think so.
Actually, sorry, nobody talks about that show the next day.
Have you watched that show?
No, I saw like, I think I recorded the show. I think I record Modern Family, and it's on after Modern Family, so I see like the first minute of it, and that's plenty.
I've seen 2 episodes. I don't watch it, but I've seen 2 episodes, and it's not bad actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's actually like it's kind of funny. I mean, it's not
also-
like laugh out loud, but for like sitcoms, it's kind of funny.
I don't like Anthony Anderson.
Well, he doesn't like you either.
I know.
So here's my first
Not getting his vote.
Yeah. So there's a problem with the cops, a problem with people getting shot. Here's what I'm going to do. As president, what we're going to promise is that we're going to do inauguration day. I don't know what exact date. Let's say January 21st, 2017. We're going to promise we're going to have a no police shooting black people from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. of that day.
Like a moratorium.
Yeah, a moratorium of shooting. No, you're like at that time, like if you're a black person, the police are not allowed to shoot you from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on January 21st. If we can make it the full hour, then I think the following week we're going to up it to 2 hours, then 3 hours the following week. By the end of the year, it'll be like you'll have like a 2 or 3 week moratorium on like shooting black people.
It'll be like the opposite of Purge.
Yes, exactly. I think this would be like Hillary, Trump. They're just saying how terrible it is, whatever. No one has a way to actually stop this problem. I'm saying it will be, if you're elected, for hours at a time, maybe even days at a time, it'll be illegal for the police just to shoot a black person.
By the end of our second term, might even have like a 3-day stretch.
Yes. So we're saying we're going to accomplish what neither candidate has ideas for. That's something that we can do as president. We will stop this problem. You could be like if you're a black person from 2 to 3 p.m. on January 21st, you'll be like, oh, you can't shoot me now. Now I could actually when I'm driving my car, I won't just randomly get shot by the police when I get pulled over. If I am not holding a weapon, the police just won't shoot me for that hour. I mean, they can wait till that hour's up and then shoot you like they do now, but.
I saw somebody post something that said, like, last year, 280 white people were shot to death by cops, and, 205 black people were shot to death by cops, so it's not a problem. I'm like, you didn't account for, like, the percentage of the population. Other than that, that was a totally worthwhile thing to post.
Right. I mean, even if you're like, oh, maybe this, forgetting the population, we've seen, the stories that are coming out recently or in the last year. Every one of them sounds pretty damning. There's never a story where it's never a story where the black guy had a gun aimed at the cops. It's always like, oh, I'm going to hand you my license. Boom.
Right.
Okay.
I also feel like when the white people get shot, they're usually running around dressed like the Joker, shooting up movie theaters. So you're kind of like, yeah, of course he got shot.
Jay, so what else are we going to do for this country? What other changes you're going to bring about? We need to break through. We need to break through. The media hears us.
I know. It's I think there's kind of a media blackout on the Brink of Sanity platform right now.
So environmental issues. The environment, I think, matters. Where we live matters. What are you going to do to solve the problem?
All boroughs matter. Sarah just said
you're running for president of the entire United States, not like just New York City.
Sarah, well, that applies to every area, not just New York. Don't be a New York elitist. There's boroughs in other cities. Sarah just said there's an idiot in her poli-sci class that made the exact point that I just said.
That all boroughs matter?
No, the white people. There was more white deaths than black deaths, even though they have 10 times the population, and the difference was 20 people.
Oh, you didn't think she didn't raise her hand in the class and said what about a moratorium of them shooting black people, for an hour or two at a time?
Next class, Sarah.
Please say that class, Sarah. What else? How are we going to solve the environmental issues, Jay?
Well, I think we should have a new policy that says don't spill all the oil into rivers.
Yes. Or if you contaminate the water, tell people about it before the entire population of Detroit's fucked up.
There was the other state.
or Michigan, whatever, wherever it is in Michigan, I forget.
Where was the other one where they were building the pipeline and it just spilled into the river and like the entire river's brown? Did you see?
Oh.
That was recently too.
Yeah, maybe we should just say like going out of business style for the Earth, and just go the opposite direction. That's what we're gonna do. So, we have well thought ideas. So, Hillary's talking about saving the environment, but she's not really doing it. Trump is like, let's drill here, and they're not. We're gonna say, do whatever the fuck you want. It's going out of business sale for the Earth. So, we're going out of business sale. We're not. Violent with the regulations, fuck it. We're gonna require you to fuck the environment up. It's like basically you sold your house, and the new owners say they're gonna tear it down anyway. Do what you'd like before you move out. So you'd have a party and destroy the house, right? I think they did that on Now 2.0. That's what we're gonna do with the Earth.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
But you got to say something crazy to get people talking.
I think so. I think that's Trump's rap. Like his thing is like say something crazy so he stays in the media. Says it like. Immigration. How are you going to solve that?
Just say you have a guy at the door, so now you can't come in.
Oh, you know what we're going to do? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to say anyone that wants to come to the United States, they're welcome to come in, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to have entry points. And at each entry point, we're going to pay about 50 people just to stand there. Because, like, any club, if there's a line out there, people want to go in the club.
Mm-hmm.
But if you see a line, you're not going to really go in there. And what basically it'll mean is the only people coming to the United States are young hot girls.
And if they look like the terrorists, you say, sorry, you're not on the list. You're
You're
not on the VIP list.
If they start sending young hot terrorists to our country, well, that's how I want to go down anyway.
That works.
So we're solving shit. What else are we going to solve, Jay? I think we've got some problems solved here. The economy.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to solve this?
We'll be like, hey, pay people more.
You're really going to be a shitty president, Jay.
Yeah, I'm going to be pretty terrible.
I think we're going to have job retraining. We're going to retrain Jay to be a video editor so he has a job outside when he loses the presidency.
We already created one job. Look at that. I think we created more jobs than Hillary so far.
And you know what? I employ a staff at my own home. So, like, there you go. We're job creators.
We've already, like, quintupled Hillary's output for job creation.
You know what we're going to do? Here's some things we're going to do. We're not going to take $1 million from Goldman Sachs to make a speech.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to do that because Goldman Sachs is not offering. If they said they want to offer like 1% of that, we'll do it.
What'd you hear? Obama just he was giving out jobs for bribes, pretty much, like actual like government staff jobs.
This doesn't sound like. Where did you hear this on? What wonderful website did you hear this on? This was not on New York Times.
It was one of the WikiLeaks, where they actually have like documented emails from it.
Okay, what was he doing?
He was doing a deal where they get a cabinet position for significant donations to his pockets.
There was someone that got a cabinet position. They were like they were made ambassador to like. It was I think one of the Kennedys was made ambassador to maybe it was Kennedy. Whoever it was made ambassador to Japan and didn't speak Japanese. And it was like,
right? Yeah, I saw that.
You remember that? It was like, oh, could you just say the position was up for sale? That would be better. Just put it up wildly, like bid on eBay for this position.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I'm not surprised that goes on. So here's some other things we're going to do. We're not going to give cabinet positions out to people that pay us because no one's paying us. We're not going to create a fake scam university because we don't have the money to do that.
We're not going to take bribes, and then we're not going to create any fake businesses because we don't have money from the bribes.
We're not going to say offend all Mexicans because no one's going to hear us offend them.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to give us the media time to do that. We're not going to we're not going to build a wall because I don't even fucking know how to put a podcast out.
I like the idea. Who was that celebrity? He wore the same thing every day for like a year, so that when the paparazzi followed him and took a picture of him, it looked like it was the same day. So eventually they like kind of left him alone. Did you read about that?
No, that's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. So because like people would be like, oh, I got a new shot of whatever, Daniel Radcliffe or whatever. And they're like, no, it's the same outfit as yesterday. And they're like, motherfucker.
That's really, really funny.
Yeah. I forget who it was. He did it for like an entire year.
I'm sure after the year was up. I mean, I bet it wasn't like it wasn't Brad Pitt doing it. Basically, it wasn't like someone they really want a shot of. It was probably
No,
like
it was. It was somebody pretty famous.
Okay.
It was Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's kind of famous.
Yeah.
Uh,
he did it for 5 straight months.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Brangelina. We're gonna solve this problem by taking away everyone's First Amendment rights related to Brangelina. You're not allowed to talk about it.
That works for me.
Because who gives a They said Brangelina got divorced, and I was like, oh, but they've been married for 2 years, so who gives a shit? But my wife was like, oh, no, but they've been together for like so long. And I'm like, come on, really? Do you even think they were really together? Like, I'm sure he was fucking some other girls, and she was like doing some other guys. Like, I don't believe this is the death of love.
Well, that and it's like 2 people I never met, never will meet, got divorced. Who gives a shit?
My wife was like, well, you know what? They had like 6 kids together. And I was like, oh, I didn't know she was pregnant that many times. She's like, no. They adopted 6 kids. I was like, oh, you mean their nannies had 6 kids together? Because they probably never even met the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's another thing we're going to do is we're going to send Brangelina to wherever ISIS is right now and let them deal with them.
Can we send the Kardashians over there too?
Sure. Anyone that's a reality star that we don't like, we could send them to like ISIS. And I'm not saying ISIS should kill them. Maybe ISIS wants to watch them and destroy their minds while watching them.
We're not telling ISIS what to do. We're just dropping them off there and wiping our hands. And if something should happen, you know,
if ISIS wants to watch them and have them be their reality show stars, that's fine as well.
That's fine too. We're not saying what you should do.
We just that's our plan for ISIS. I don't know if this will stop terrorism, but it's somehow I'll be less angry. What other issues are you gonna? Oh yeah, so we're not going to an email. So you don't have to worry about our email because we both use major email services. I use Gmail a lot. What do you use?
I use Hotmail a lot.
Probably both services have been hacked already, so you don't have to worry. Like, if it doesn't matter, and like, do you hear Yahoo? They had 500 million email accounts that were hacked. Yeah. I am shocked there were 500 million email accounts, people using Yahoo.
That sounds like garbage.
Yeah, I almost really think the story was there were 5 million, and the people at Yahoo said, can we up that to 500 million just for the news story?
Yeah, there's no way there's 500 million people with a Yahoo address.
And you know what, like, the hackers, if there's a website I can go to just to opt in and being, like, to have some of these, you could just have my Yahoo password. I don't give a shit. You could read my spam I get on there for no apparent reason instead of me reading it.
Somebody tried to hack my Yahoo yesterday.
Really? How do you know?
I got a sign-in attempt prevented email, and it said somebody tried to sign into your account from China.
Oh, you should like reply back. Let them do it. What's the difference?
I literally only have it for the fantasy basketball league, so I don't really care.
That's why I have it too. Like if someone took over your email, how much would it really change your life? If I could hack into your email, or like the China was hacking into your email, I guess they'd get your financial information, so they could pay off your student loans.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that happened to
That part I guess would be bad.
My dad was trying to like log into like his Chase account or something, and they were asking for all these different forms of identification. He's like, "Why is it so hard to like log into my account?" And they're like, "Well, you know, to stop hackers." He's like, "It's a bill. Like, if they want to get in there, let them do it. Because what are they going to do? Just pay it?" He's like, "I don't give a shit. Like, stop with all this." And he just went off on them like that's a good point.
Yeah,
it really is a good point. I mean,
that was my theory with Yahoo. The only thing that you Yahoo is for my fantasy for fantasy football. And so, if someone wants to hack in there and set my lineup for me, I probably would do better. Anything else you want to do, or you want to anything else you're going to do to make the country better, Jay? You seem to have thought this is well thought out.
Well thought out.
What else? Your platform? Transgender bathrooms. What are you going to do about that?
Didn't we already go over that? You just unisex bathrooms for everybody, as long as there's no bathroom attendants in any of them.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And unisex bathrooms like everywhere forever. Like, I don't know why this is all of a sudden a huge deal.
Weed, is that legal?
Sure.
Cocaine.
Um. Hmm. I'm thinking. I'm on the fence about just making everything legal. Because
Yeah, I go back and forth on that. Weed, I'm totally fine with, but I don't know if I really want heroin or cocaine legal.
the thing is, I feel like people are going to do it anyway, and like you have a lot more drug dealer problems if it's illegal.
I agree with you. The thing is, though, I feel like weed, everyone does it anyway, and everyone's going to do it either way. So what's the point? I feel like cocaine, there's certain enough people are like, if cocaine was sold at CVS, it might increase the number of people doing it.
What if you just didn't sell regulated cocaine, but you said you don't get in trouble if you do it?
Well, like I think in general, like, a lot of places, a lot of parts of the country have turned from possession is just like a violation, like a almost like a parking ticket, versus trying to sell it. That's where you get the jail time.
Right. You can have it, but you can't sell it.
Yeah, I think even in New York City, if you were found with a little baggie of cocaine, they're not doing that much to you. I mean, I think that's where like the movement is changing.
Mm-hmm.
Would you make it legal entirely?
I'm gonna have to think about that one.
Okay, well, we're gonna deliberate. What about Guantanamo Bay? What are you gonna do about that?
Leave it open because where are Harold and Kumar gonna go?
That's fair. They have to make more movies.
Yeah.
Anything else on your issues
I mean,
that you're
Bill
going
and
to take care
Ted
of?
can go there. Wayne and Garth can go there. I mean, we're killing a lot of movies if we get rid of this place.
Supreme Court, who are your justices?
Well, there's already 8 in there, right?
There's 8 in there. You're going to give Judge Judy a shot?
I don't like Judge Judy.
Do you know she makes like some like obscene amount of money, like $60 or $70 million a year?
Really?
Yeah, no, she makes absurd money on that show.
I think we need to liven the Supreme Court up.
What are you going to do?
Get Gilbert Godfrey in there.
Have him in it, but his opinion doesn't count. It says Judge Judy. Well, CBS. I see this article headline: CBS sued over Judge Judy's $47 million salary. I don't know why she sued over that.
Let's do. We have emails. You want to do emails?
Yeah, we got emails. We got Facebook questions.
Okay. Learn
Oh,
rights.
the other thing I was going to tell you, not to sidetrack this show at all, but you know those articles that I always see, like a bully told her to get the hell away.
What happens next will blow your mind.
I was thinking, now this is like a weird thought, because I only have weird thoughts. So let's just say, like, Nazi Germany had those things. And it would be like, what happened next would blow your mind. And it'd be like, I called her a Jew and put her in her place. And everyone would be like, yeah. I was thinking of how, like, if like society turned out differently, those articles would be really messed up. Like, what happened next would blow your mind. I told them, you're just a slave. And I was correct. And that was the end of that.
So basically just the opposite of all those.
Because all those things, there's like some person take a moral high ground. Some people would be like, oh, you making fun of me because I don't have hair. Well, I have cancer. And so it'd be like, oh, you make fun because I don't have cancer. And they'd be like, oh, but our society believes in eugenics, so you should be dead.
You probably have cancer because you're a Jew.
Yeah, what happened next will blow your mind. And they're all like, you're a Jew.
That's the end of every single video.
Every single video.
This bully went up to a Jew. What happened next would blow your mind. They're like, fuck you, Jew, and they push him on the ground.
The bully beat the crap out of him into death because he was a Jew. Yeah. What happened next would blow your mind. Okay, you can go with your.
Glad we covered that.
I have these random thoughts that I want to share on the show.
I miss your list of pet peeves.
Yeah, I guess I'm just adding my pet peeves throughout the show. That's basically what I'm doing.
Lorenzo writes, hey guys, I have to go see a doctor about my dodgy shoulder. I only just realized what his name was. His name is Mr. Joshua Tree. And he says there are some wacky parents out there.
Wow.
That is, yeah, I think some parents are like, you know what? I want my kid to get bullied all throughout school.
I don't know what the hell you're thinking with that kind of name.
I don't either. Lorenzo writes, "Hey guys, did you watch the John Benet Ramsey investigation documentary? All signs point to the brother smacking her in the head with a Maglite torch after she stole a piece of pineapple off him during a late night snack. From there, it was a massive cover-up. The creepy thing was that they reenacted this with an actual 10-year-old smacking a torch over a pig skull covered with a wig. That's pretty messed up. How did they recruit someone for that?" So
Yeah.
like pushy parents who want their kid to be an actor. Like, you fucking hit that pig. You hit that pig, you little shit.
I mean, there's so many people out there that whose acting credits include, "I was the rape victim on America's Most Wanted."
Right. That's like the entire reel.
Yeah, and I wonder if, like, can you get an America's Most Wanted reenactments if you've been in them already? Like, do they just say a one-time thing? Because it would be weird if you kept watching those reenactments and be like, that dude with the mustache gets really unlucky. He was raped
Right.
last week. This week he was part of a triple homicide.
Guy's been raped, murdered, drowned.
The week before he was a serial killer. I don't even understand.
Yeah, that would. I don't know.
I wonder if they have to, like, you have to have, like, I've never appeared in these before, like the reenactments.
Because I noticed they do that with commercials. You see, like, the same 5 guys in, like, he's the Wendy's guy and then he's the McDonald's guy. Like, the same, like, 5 people keep showing up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, like, in the reenactment world, there are certain people that are really known in the industry, and you don't know them because you don't watch all the reenactment shows.
Sarah's saying it's really good, so we should watch it.
So Sarah, what was it on? Sarah can answer us in 10 minutes when the delay finishes off. What? I could just look this up, I guess.
Lorenzo writes, "Hey guys, in regards to the Sydney 300, this is the name of your 300th show. I am an hour south of Sydney also. I am pretty sure you would fly into there from the U.S. So that would save an extra flight." Lorenzo's still pushing for us to do the 300th episode in Australia.
I'm down. Again, we have to do a GoFundMe page. Is Bri coming? Oh yeah, you have the choice to bring Bri or not. It's $6,000 if you don't want Bri, $9,000 if you want to bring Bri. We each get $3,000 of money to spend to make this work.
Lorenzo writes, "The website from last week wasn't AI for A, it was AL for A, but the L was lowercase." So he did some research.
AL4A is a great porn site.
Apparently.
Okay.
Lorenzo writes, "AJ, I reckon you should get T-shirts made up for the 300th episode."
You should do that, Jay. But I figure by the time we hit the 600 shows, we'll have sold the 300 T-shirts. Could you get 300 T-shirts made? Actual 300? That number? Because it'll be comedic gold how you explain the fact that you actually did it and you've sold only one of 300.
I find it weird how many Australian listeners we have. The guy who made the Nix custom controllers is from Australia. The guy who won lives in the next town over in Australia. I'm like, you should just kept the controller and just, like, bicycled it over to his house.
There's literally...
Instead of costing me.
You're right. The guy who won, he mailed it from Australia to you, and you had to mail it back to Australia.
Yes, it cost me $13 in shipping when he could have just like thrown it over his fence.
Is there just no entertainment in Australia?
I don't know.
I lived in Australia. I've told you that before. I studied abroad there in Australia for like 6 months. I don't remember there being a lot of, like, I was also, like, in college at the time, so I didn't really watch them, but I didn't have a TV there. I don't know if there was that much.
Maybe we're just huge in Australia. Maybe there's, like, Will and Jay posters up in Australia.
Maybe we'll get there and, like, get off the plane and it'll be like the Beatles.
You know, somebody tracked me down and asked me to upload the rest of the public access episodes.
Holy shit, really?
So I've been uploading one a day. There's 13 public access episodes up right now. 10 more coming.
They really wanted you to?
Yeah, he's like
was he a Brink listener?
No, he said, when I was in high school, I used to watch your show on public access, and I was telling my friends about it, and then I went on your YouTube channel, and there was only like 3 episodes, and can you upload the rest?
Did you tell him about Brink?
No.
Are you a fucking... I like your old comedic work. Have you done anything else in the last 20 years? Nope.
I sent him to the YouTube channel, which has a bunch of Brink videos on there.
Why don't you tell him about the goddamn show, asshole?
Well, I
he's
figured-
like, I don't know. He sent me this thing that they had this other show on there, but it wasn't. It said Brink Sanity. The Jay's name's not in that, so I'm just gonna watch something else. You
Sarah forgot the channel that the documentary is on.
okay? I heard about it coming on. I didn't know if it aired or not.
Oh,
but,
Andrew says it's on. This show is on during the middle of the day while they're bored at work.
Oh, okay.
That makes
Fair enough. Andrew's from Australia, right?
Yeah, everyone's from Australia.
Maybe we'll get the money. Maybe if you start the GoFundMe page, we'll actually get the money.
I'm starting to think we might. Like, it seems like most of our listeners are Australian.
Do you know what kind of fight I'd have with my wife if we did it? If we actually got it, I was like, I'm going to Australia for a week for my podcast. She'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? You're leaving me with the kids for a week to go to Are you kidding? She'd be like, what are you really doing? I'd have to, like, show her the evidence of it before she'd believe me.
Lorenzo writes, oh, by the way, Lorenzo's from Australia. No joke. Hey, guys, much like countries that bid for the Olympics to be in their cities, the Australian listeners need to email or message to bid to be the host city for the 300th episode. Much like the real Olympics, bribes are mandatory. If Sydney wins the bid, for each step Mark takes when he walks, I will throw funfetti at his feet. Not frosting,
I have to
though,
say,
that-
I studied abroad in Melbourne, which I actually, and I've been to Sydney twice. Australia's awesome. Go on.
Not frosting, though, that isn't included.
That's some bullshit. They don't include it in Australia. You're just as backwards as the United States. Are there more emails, or are you just gonna stare?
No, Andrew is saying.
Can you do two things at once, Jay?
I
Go
don't
on.
really don't think there was that big of a delay.
There's been a delay every time you read something. We have like a nice pause where you're like, we should do a jump cut here. Go on, Jay.
Have you seen yourself when you try and read the chat room?
I sometimes read emails during the show, like I completely pause out the show.
Andrew is writing, we should have a checkbox on the GoFundMe page to fly Sarah instead of Bry.
Ooh. Sarah, you want to go to Australia with us? That would be a lot of explaining to my wife.
We're going with Jay and a 19-year-old girl who's not on the podcast. Lorenzo writes, last week you spoke about advertising for Brink's show. Have you investigated how much it costs to do so? Like an ad placed at the start of Bill Simmons' podcast. I wonder how much that goes for.
Well, we don't need to investigate how much it costs to advertise on our show. You just need to offer us money, and we say yes, and we do the advertisement. I don't know what's going to happen with Bill Simmons, but we'll just take any amount of money. As long as the quantity that's a plural, we'll probably take that amount of money for the advertising.
No, he means us paying to get an advertisement on Bill Simmons.
Oh, I thought he meant like, hi, I own Nick's Body Shop, and I want to advertise on your show, kind of thing.
No. He's talking about us,
I
our
understood,
show
I
being
understood,
promoted
yeah.
on Bill Simmons' show.
I imagine that's a lot of money.
Well, it's more than zero, and that's our budget.
What do you think? How much do you think it would probably cost?
100? 200?
I can't imagine it's that much.
He gets like 1 million listeners an episode.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably more like $30,000 or $40,000 an advertisement.
30 or 40,000?
Yeah.
You're out of your mind.
I'm basing this on nothing, so
No, it's
the same brain I used to figure out that there should be a frosting in the funfetti box. So
I mean,
I'm
you're
probably
just
right.
taking what we charge and multiplying that by the amount of listeners he has. But I don't think it's exponential like that.
How much would you charge? So someone wanted to come on. Let's say Joe Bob's Auto Shop called and they're like, we like the Brink and we could feel like it would do well for our business because we're morons. How much does it cost to advertise on your show?
We
Jay?
always say $50 and see what happens.
That's for the website. We don't quote people. If you want to advertise on Brink, let us know and you can advertise whatever your business you have. If you're trying to sell things to the Australian market, we have an inroad in the Australian market.
We sure do.
So whatever you want to sell in Australia, let us know and we'll advertise on the show and we'll probably give you an introductory rate of lower than $50. Or if you want to spend hundreds of dollars, whatever you want to offer us, actually, we're not going to lowball ourselves. We're not good at this financial advice thing.
Speaking of which, this is the financial advice podcast, so we should probably get to that.
I wanted to just complain about something.
You know, we're
So-
like 55 minutes into the show.
Oh, shut the fuck up. So did you hear Mark Zuckerberg and his wife have They've pledged to give away 99% of his Facebook shares.
No, I didn't hear that.
So they pledged to give away most of his money. Like it's like this thing that like really rich billionaires are doing. They're saying like fuck their offspring. We're gonna give away most of our money. They'll still probably their kids will probably still get like $1 billion, but they're not gonna get like
99% of his money is still probably like $900 million in his bank account. So
Yeah. So anyhow, so the first initiative he's doing, he said, is he's pledging $3 billion to fight disease. And they're saying that they want to
is that just
eradicate
general, like go away disease.
Yes, this
Like
is
no
what
specific
makes me.
disease, just like we're gonna kill all disease.
At the event Wednesday, Mr. Zuckerberg said that if his organization's plan to cure or manage all disease worked, it should increase human life expectancy to 100 years. He plans to basically say that quote actually didn't help me at all. But basically, what he plans to do is say all disease will either be cured or manageable. That's the fundraise. That's the goal.
Is his next initiative going to be like to fight weather?
Yes, he should be like, I'm giving $3 billion to make sure there's no more short people. Just things that are just you're not going to fucking actually like. If you just said I'm going to donate $3 billion to focus on cancer, okay, fine. He's trying to focus on all disease. You're probably not going to make that. It's probably not going to work out. Actually,
it's so like I'm gonna raise money to fight bad things.
$3 billion from now, I'm going to make sure no one curses anymore.
I'm gonna invest $4 billion into fighting sadness.
I'm going to put a rainbow outside everyone's home. It was just like, really? Like, this sounds the most vague thing possible.
Yeah, it's pretty vague.
So that just annoyed me. Like, just, if you're going to you really want to do something, then fucking explain what you're going to do. Don't say I'm going to pay $3 billion to fight disease. Oh, good thing. There'll be no one will ever get sick again. Thank you. I'm sure that'll happen.
Because there hasn't
asshole.
been $3 billion raised for just cancer alone, and it didn't work. So I'm sure your $3 billion though will be successful.
I understand you're a goddamn genius that came up with a system so people can share baby pictures with each other, but you haven't figured out how to like actually come. You're not going to cure the fucking disease.
It only takes a genius to exactly copy MySpace.
That annoyed me. And the other article that I know we have a lot of things to get to, so the fact that I'm like, going to talk about this article makes me a total asshole. But the other thing, because I was going to forget about for next show. Have you heard about, do you know what Tesla is? Not the band. The car?
Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, well, not him either. Tesla car. Have you heard about the Tesla car?
I have.
It's an electric car. It's a really like high-end all-electric car that goes on one charge goes 200 miles, and now they finally are coming out with a. The whole goal was to make start with a high-end version and then finally make a version that like the regular person could afford. I think the version the regular person can afford is something like $40,000. So I'm not sure what regular person can afford it, but eventually.
So you have two already, right?
What's up?
So you have two.
Just my servants. Anyway,
Mark walks into his servant's guest house and goes, "You get a car, and you get a car.
You get an electric car. You get an electric car." So there's something. So an innovative feature they have now is they have an autopilot. Have you heard about? You haven't heard about this at all.
I've heard about self-driving cars.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So it's kind of like self-driving cars. But the idea is that when you're driving, instead of putting your car in you know what cruise control is, or have you ever been in a car?
Yes.
Okay, so the idea is you could hit autopilot and the car will take over driving for a period of time. It's self-driving basically. You're sitting behind the wheel and you could take over anytime you want. And recently there was an accident with it where I guess the system, whatever it uses, got confused by like the sunlight and just crashed into like a giant truck, and the people died.
Yeah,
And
nobody
so
saw
some
that coming.
controversy. So that might be a malfunction when your self-driving thing just kills you. So they were talking about they've updated the autopilot on this car, and now it's supposed to give you more warnings. So the whole pitch is that it's supposed to make driving easier, but you should still pay attention while driving to make sure you can take over at any time. And you should take over anytime when things get like, I guess the idea if you're driving a long way where there's not much going on, hey, I don't need to pay attention, but pay attention when you need to pay attention. Is there anything that would make you pay less attention than an autopilot? Like, how is this not going to? I mean, outside of the car crashing itself, are you going to pay any? Isn't the entire purpose of this so I cannot pay attention?
Right. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have the car drive around, and I'm just gonna collect Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, if it's autopilot and I have to pay attention, why don't I just fucking drive?
Yeah. Exactly.
What's the goddamn point? I don't understand. There's things that like the way they describe it, they give you warnings when they think they're high risk situations and you should take over. But if you're paying enough attention to follow these warnings, and apparently the warnings before where they weren't like they didn't get people attention enough, so now they're doing more warnings. This is just a bad idea.
I would
Either
rather
have
just drive.
the car.
Honestly, like this sounds like too much of a pain. Like if I'm gonna be monitoring all these buttons and dials and stuff, I'm just gonna drive.
Yeah, either have the car take over completely, and I can jerk off and do whatever the hell I want and play like solitaire, which is I guess I do those two hobbies together, or I drive the car. There's no in between.
Right.
Any in between is a disaster, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So I'm going to, as president, we're going to outlaw in between. You have to go full. Let's go to our questions. Okay.
Right. So Facebook questions.
Okay, so now we are finally going to get to the portion of our show dedicated to financial advice. I didn't think we'd have much to talk about. I never think we have much to talk about, so I thought it would be a good week to talk about our financial advice. And yeah, the whole idea behind this is, have you listened to Dave Ramsey before, Jay?
No.
Do you know who Dave Ramsey is?
I've listened to Chef Ramsay.
Not the same.
Okay.
Dave Ramsey, the guy who gives out financial advice. It's not even that important that you really know him. But I kind of said, basically, this show is kind of like Dave Ramsey, hosted by morons. So we want your questions, and you can kind of just say, tell us your financial queries, and we'll help. So Rosero writes, if I PayPal Jay $11.50, will he change the podcast name to The Brink of Rosero? That's. I'm sure we're gonna get real questions. Jay, I have a question. So, let's say, going off this, how much money would it take to get the show changed to The Brink of Rosero?
Be more than 11. I'd name an episode The Brink of Rosero for $11.50.
I agree with that. Brink of Rosero, $11.50. You get an episode named after you. But how much to change the podcast name?
That would be a lot.
Oh, let's try to ballpark this. Let's say Rosero said, "I'll give you $50."
No.
$100.
No.
$1,000.
Brink of Rosero podcast starting next Monday. $1,000.
So, Rosero, if you want to waste or spend $1,000 wisely, depending on how you look at it, it could be The Brink of Rosero for $1,000.
There you go.
That'd be pretty good. That would be pretty good. What if, though, the $1,000 could only be spent on podcast-related activities?
That's fine.
Okay.
We could put an ad on Bill Simmons' podcast. Well, not according to you. You think it's $30,000.
Wait, you think it's $1,000?
Yeah.
Oh, you think advertising? I thought you were saying it would cost more money.
No.
Oh, you think it's only? Why do you think it's less money?
Because it's a podcast, and like 30,000 seems insane to me.
Oh, I really thought you were going the other way with this. I really thought you thought it was going to be like $100,000 to advertise on this podcast, which seemed insane to me also.
Yeah, no. Maybe it is more than 1,000. I'm just totally guessing.
I have really no idea how much it would cost, but I would assume 1 million downloads would be a good amount of money, but he's not going to pay per download either.
Yeah,
maybe
knows?
like $10,000.
Who knows? Bill Simmons wouldn't be my first pick for the Brink anyway. I would pick like Nerdist, probably.
Okay. Rosero writes, what if, here's a question, Jay, just related to that. How much would it take for you to legally change your name to Rosero?
That would probably be like 10,000.
Would you do it for $10,000?
How much does it cost to legally change your name? I don't want to.
Let's just say legal. They pay for the $10,000, whatever the fee for changing your name, which I don't think is very expensive.
Right.
Actually, when you get married, they do it with when you get married
Mm-hmm.
for like last names. But anyway, let's say that fee will be included. Okay,
Mhm.
$10,000 plus that fee. Would you pay $10,000? You would change your name to Rosero. Tell everyone at work your new name is Rosero. Like you have to adopt this name. Like you tell your mom that she has to call you Rosero from now on. Mom, my name's Rosero. I'm gonna go kill myself.
20,000. I'll do it.
What if it's something like ridiculous, like shit can J?
Shit can.
Yeah, I don't know. Something like okay, ass muncher. Your new name is ass muncher. You have to tell everyone that your name is ass muncher.
Yeah, that would be a lot more money.
Now
Now we're talking like six figures at least.
100 grand. Would you change your name to ass muncher?
No, I think Ass Muncher is like $250,000.
$250,000. You'd go around and telling everyone, your parents, your coworkers, and you like $250,000 is a lot of money, but you probably still have to work a job. So you have to tell everyone, my
I'd
name
have to
is
put
ass.
that on my resume for my next job.
You can see there, I passed all 4 CFA exams, and I have an MBA. So you have to think: do you want an ass muncher in your job? And do you think do you think ass muncher would add a lot to your company?
Every tax return would get signed Ass Muncher.
By the way, when I listen to Dave Ramsey show, at no point does he talk about ass munching.
Every single return I did would get audited.
Sir, why is it taking you so long to sign your name? Well, I'm not used to signing ass muncher. Sir, this is a serious. Here, look at my license.
Sarah said Ass Muncher sounds like a porn category. You almost made
You're trying to make your own
website.
website. You were trying to make your own website. And you're like, damn it! Every variation of my name is taken. So yeah, ask much for $250,000. If we do it, so if we did a GoFundMe page to get your name changed to I bet if we did a GoFundMe page for that, there's a chance we might get.
I
it.
feel like there's enough trolls out there where that might actually happen.
Yeah, and you have to legally do it. Like you should have. And I think we
Like if
made
it's
a
like
deal
the
here.
250,000, I would have to do it.
You would
can't
kind
just
of
say like, no, I don't really want to do that now.
no. That's a serious amount of money. You would have to.
How much would it take for you? I mean, I know you got robot butlers and shit, so it'd probably be more. But
I have kids, and having my kid calling me ass muncher, I don't think I can. I can take that. I think I might just rather be dead.
so no price would get you.
I have to say it has to be an amount of money that I'm easily retired.
So you wouldn't do it for $1 million.
I don't know if I'm easily retired at $1 million.
You're not easily retired at $1 million.
Yeah, I want something where I don't have to work again, so I know like, because I want to be like, hey, my name's Ass Muncher, but I'm retired at this age. I don't want to be like, I'm Ass Muncher, and I can take your order because that's the only job I can get.
You know, that is a good point. I wouldn't be able to get another job, and $250,000 is not enough to retire on. So
You could. Oh, you know what? Actually, you could. What's your middle name?
Robert.
Oh, why do you go by A. Robert? What's the A stand for? Alan?
Sure.
Kind of.
Close.
Slightly off. Oh, let me see if I can guess it. Just leave me alone, please. What if it's your last name? So you're like your future bride has to take that name also.
Well, then it would be the
Or actually, her name would just be Muncher.
Ass Muncher 2020 for the presidential campaign.
Or like we could do variations on it. Your name could be Black Dildo.
That'll be your last name. So it would be the Ass Muncher Black Dildo ticket for the 2020 campaign.
The only reason I would like that name is that white people would have to whisper when they said my name. So Rosaire, if you could start the GoFundMe page, I think we're going to make this happen. Rosaire writes, I have a friend who went to Long Island University for film and Us about
And is
about $77,000 in debt. How much is too much debt? $77,000 to major in film is too much debt.
Yeah, my girlfriend went to Long Island University and has about the same amount of debt. but is
But
not for film.
Yeah.
It's still even with a professional, like that's too much debt.
It's a lot of money, but I like film. Just seems like if you're really into film, find a cheaper place to study, or just like spend $5,000 on film equipment and make your own films.
That's not the question though. Like how much debt is too much debt? Like,
Oh, I thought the question kind of is like $77,000 for a major that's kind of stupid in the first place.
no, he's just asking about debt. Like it's too much debt.
Well, I'm like if he had $77,000 and said I have and I majored in electrical and engineering, I'd say you're probably going to make that back.
Yeah, it's still too much. Like that's like years of like just scraping by just to pay off your stupid debt.
Well, if you have a good major, you could earn a lot of money, so it might be worthwhile.
Might be. You're not even guaranteed.
No, it's definitely like the whole college thing's a giant scam.
Well, that was the question.
Okay. Well, I was interpreting film majors as being a bad idea.
Will we stop going off on the film majors here?
Ooh, I want to be a video editor. So Rosero writes, "Why is Jay and Mark not vegans?"
I would say anything over 40,000 is like.
But you can't even do that though. Most schools are going to be more than that.
I have over 40,000. It's stupid. I hate it.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying, like most colleges aren't going to be. Most colleges are going to be more than. I mean,
Most colleges are bullshit.
I agree with you. Like to have a whole system where you have to take out a mini mortgage to like get a job seems kind of ridiculous.
Right.
Because it's hard to be employed if you don't have a college degree, and you have to pay a ridiculous amount of money to like.
It's like it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
So I would look at it this way: like if my son, like if that situation was going to be in, if he majored in engineering, I would be okay with that because I feel like it would be a better chance of it working out. But if he's going to do something a major like film, I would say, well, I'm curious, watch a TV show and call it a day, or like here's $5,000 and like.
I mean, you can make
TV
money in film if you're good at it. It's more like the ones where it's like ancient European history. It's where there's like literally one job out there for it.
Do you think a lot of people that make money in film have majored in it in school?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. 'Cause I feel like it's not an industry you really need to major in as much as like just do.
I think you got to learn. You got to study the. There's a lot of stuff to know.
Or like you can get it. You can major in something more useful and then just go into it anyway. Because like I feel like also a job that you probably learn more by doing it than actually like.
Well, you
go to a place like.
You get a lot of hands-on experience. like you learn how to do the video editing. You learn how to learn the history of film.
Or could you get this like from a community college where it would be less money?
Yeah,
like
you don't like. There's schools that focus on film. Like I went to Emerson in Boston instead of Northeastern because that is just a media school.
Yeah, I mean, I guess basically, is there a way to like do it for less money?
Yes,
that's the other thing.
Yeah, that's where I should have went.
Rosero writes, "Why is Jay and did you study? What did you study?"
Communications with a focus on radio and TV.
Okay. And did you say my goal is to make a podcast?
I don't think podcasts existed when I went to college.
You could have started it.
Yeah. Always 5 years too late on everything I do.
Rosero writes, "Why is Jay and Mark not vegans?"
That's stupid.
I don't really understand the vegan thing.
It's not even healthy. Like literally not even healthy.
It just seems like, are we really not? Like we're like his human history has existed eating meat. Is changing it going to be make things that much?
My buddy was vegan, and his doctor's like, "Yeah, you're like dying. You need to eat meat."
Yeah, you need to get enough iron, and I feel like it's going too far. It's being like a little too insane. Rosero writes, "Guys, I went to Whole Foods. Wow, the food is so good, too bad. So good, too bad. Only Mark can shop there." Then we did that show where it was like the kind of what kind of rich do you want to be? I want to be like, just buy whatever I want in Whole Foods. That kind of rich.
Right.
That was a good episode. Rosero, it is kind of absurd also. Like there's things in there I'm like, I would never pay $12 for this artichoke.
Right. It's like, oh, a eighth of a pound of guacamole for $9.50.
They have some things that are like okay price. Like milk is usually like a decent price there, and some cereal is a decent price. But like most things there, they're actually opening up a Whole Foods next to my office.
Yeah, that place is definitely a ripoff.
Rosero writes, "What is the best NYC borough to live in?"
Queens.
Do you think that because you live there?
Well, I've lived in 3 out of 5, and the 2 I haven't lived in are definite no's. Like, you're not going to say Staten Island or the Bronx.
Yeah, no.
And I've lived in the other 3.
I've only lived. I lived for the first 3 months of my life in the Bronx, but I don't remember that.
I lived the first 2 months of my life in the Bronx. That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. What part?
Co-op City?
Oh, Parkchester.
Hmm.
Then I only lived in Manhattan when I lived in the city. But I don't know. Queens seems like a pretty. I like your neighborhood.
See, for me, like, Manhattan, it's always just chaos. Like, sometimes it's nice to, like, step outside and just not have, like, cars honking and people yelling and stuff. So you could get that in Brooklyn and Queens. You can't get that in Manhattan. There's, like, no area of Manhattan where it's ever quiet ever.
You know what the thing? Here's the thing. The only thing, like, the biggest thing I miss about Manhattan now is just my commute.
Yeah,
The
other
commute to
than
work.
that,
That's
yeah,
the only thing I miss. So living in Queens, I still have it would be a better commute, but it would than here, but it still wouldn't be a wonderful commute.
right. But actual living, though, like, you're paying, like, way more than you should for, like, a place that's way smaller than it
Well,
should be.
if you won $100 million, if money wasn't an issue, where would you live?
Probably a different state.
Well, I meant like if you had to choose a borough and money wasn't an issue, you'd live in Manhattan.
Yeah, but then you're talking about a situation where you're, like, rich, where it's, if money, like, if you're, like, in the 1%, it's a different living experience.
You are living in a different Manhattan. Yes, that's true.
You don't have to deal with the normal people. You have, like, doormen, and you live in apartments where you don't have, like,
If you want a mix of affordability and still living in a cool area, I think Brooklyn's gotten out of hand. Also, I would say where you live. I like Astoria a lot. I thought Astoria was a pretty cool area. My wife didn't seem to think so we never moved there.
Yeah.
Forest Hills is not bad either.
Yeah,
So
no, Queens has a lot of spots. Brooklyn, I think, got really douchey and really expensive.
I don't know if it got how douchey it really got, but I mean, I guess, or how much of it changed really. But like, it has some really cool areas.
Well, if you go to the Docks neighborhood, it's totally douchey there.
I don't go there very often. It's also like now I have like no reason to go to Brooklyn. So,
Sarah said you guys literally had this conversation 4 episodes ago.
it's probably true.
Yeah. Next question then.
Andrew writes, Rosera writes, guys, what the hell are people thinking going to a for-profit colleges?
Yeah, those are all, like, I don't know. All the colleges are for profit. Even the ones that say not for profit are clearly for profit.
Well, here's the difference though. Like, your kid, would you tell him that if you're gonna go to college, he has to go to a state school, or would you let him go to a private school? Because the private schools are a lot more money. The state schools have gotten actually very expensive also, but the private schools are ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess it depends what private school and what he's going for. Like I said, like, I went for communications. I should have went to a different school.
Well, if the private school is Harvard, that's cool. We'll work that out.
Right. It depends on the prestige of it. Like, if you're going for a profit school that doesn't have a great name, but you're still paying, like,
I think it has to have like my opinion of this. It has to have like a top 10 name to make it worthwhile, for profit. And it can't be even like a pretty good like NYU. I think NYU is a complete ripoff for undergrad.
It is.
It's like
even grad school. My coworker is doing the same accounting program that I just finished.
Yeah.
And he registered at NYU, and our company gives $15,000 a year toward tuition reimbursement. And I took 8 classes and fitted into the 15,000. He took 2, and he went over. So he's paying out of pocket for like every other class for the rest of the year. I'm like, why would you do that? It's the same accounting degree.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a. It's
Nobody's going to be
worth
like, oh, this NYU accounting degree is so much better than this Baruch accounting degree. Like, nobody's thinking that. Like,
Yeah.
you're just wasting tens of thousands of dollars.
I mean, there are certain things like colleges, like if you're going to Yale or Princeton, yeah, that's fine. Like I feel like that like probably it'll be worth going to that kind of debt to go in there. But if you're going to Delaware College or whatever, some private, like some pretty good school,
Yeah.
it's just not going to make sense. If Andrew writes, if I invest any money into Brink of Sanity, does that mean that I become part owner?
I mean, I think there's a threshold.
Let's say someone
So
says
far, the top investor has been $100.
who invested $100, Jay.
I don't know if he wants his name said. So
This is the first I've heard there's an investor in the show. I didn't know we did. I didn't know we did a Series A round of financing.
This was I think maybe before you became a regular on the show.
Yeah,
I think it was our first Australian listener.
you're just fucking kidding me.
I'm not.
It's really Australia's been funding this the whole time.
Well, just that initial thing, yeah.
What did he say? Like $100? If you ever make money, I get a percentage of it, or
No,
just like
he
here's a
said, I love
donation?
the show, and I want to show my appreciation.
Oh, okay, it was a donation. It's
Yeah,
not really investing.
yeah, true.
You're like, I just invested in cancer.
Yeah, true.
I just invested in homeless people. you know, women get beaten a lot. I invested in that. Apparently, Jay doesn't understand the word church. Like he's like at church. Oh, each week I buy part of the church.
I am on my third drink this episode. So make it a little silly from here on out.
So if someone wanted to become a part owner, let's say someone said, I want 50% of all. I want 50% of the show. I want 50% as in or 51%. I want creative control of the show, and I want 50% of 1% of all future earnings.
See, I'm not so much worried about the earnings as the.
Oh, really? You're not worried about the earnings?
No, as a creative part.
The creative control is the part I felt was the bigger part. How much would they have to pay to take creative control?
See, Sarah's a long-time listener. She actually knew who the listener was. She said it in the chat room.
Wow, Sarah. I cannot believe we had this dedicated fan I didn't know about that wasn't named Stephen.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that later, too.
Oh, why don't we just do the show all night?
My first banning, my first official banning.
Okay, we can get to that later. Just okay. we have it's our financial episode, Jay. How much would it cost? And this is none of this stuff has been advice so far, or some advice. How much would it cost to take creative control of the show? 51%. So you still have a seat on the board.
I know. See, the thing is, most times when people give me advice on creative side, it's terrible.
Has anyone ever given you advice on the creative side?
Yeah, especially when I had the public access show, like everyone would be like, "You guys should do this, and you guys should do that," and it was always like the worst thing ever.
Okay, so we're not like you don't. Someone's gonna. How much money would it be? Like someone could be bad or good about advice. You're not gonna know until I start giving you advice. How much money would it cost?
It could ruin the entire show.
I know. We're talking money. So let's say they offered you $100. Can they have creative control?
Absolutely not.
$1,000.
No.
$10,000.
That'll probably get it done.
I would if we got to $250,000, I would really question your judgment if you would change your name to Ass Bunch, but wouldn't give us creative control. So $10,000, they can have creative control of the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Andrew,
Because
so
then if they ruin the show, I'll just end it and start a new show. It's not like we have that big of a fan base where, like, I just announced, like, hey, next week the show will be called blah, blah, blah.
it's Brink of Rosero next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Andrew writes, how much is Mr. Brink Sanity investing into his presidential campaign? Has he had to sacrifice food at home to afford it?
I've invested just as much as I do in this podcast.
I think you're lying because you'd probably invest more money in the podcast.
Probably.
Do you? Well, Donald Trump got pretty far just using the media for free publicity, right? So we got to do the same thing, Jay. Between now and when the debate starts tomorrow night at 9, we have to get on that ticket. What are you gonna do?
Maybe I should just hold hands with Jill Stein when she's out there protesting, trying to get in.
There you go.
Jill Stein and some random dude in a Freakazoid shirt just got arrested outside the debates.
Why is Jill Stein protesting?
Because she thinks she should be part of the debates. She's going to try and barge into the debates tomorrow.
She knows like a certain percentage. She doesn't have that.
Yeah, but the percentage is kind of ridiculous.
It's something like 8%,
No,
right?
it's 15%.
Okay. Well, Ross Perot made it and got to the debates. People have done it before.
He's literally the only one ever.
Okay. Well, what percentage is Jill Stein at?
I don't know, 5.
Why don't they have what they should have had?
I think 5 is considering she's had 0 like media coverage.
Well,
Gary Johnson's at 10, and he's not allowed in, which I also think is ridiculous.
That seems like a better case. Well, why don't they have Jill Stein and Gary Johnson debate like a week before, which is obviously not possible now, and then like see if their numbers go up, so people actually seeing them, and then try.
Well, that's also part of the conspiracy that the media doesn't give them any coverage.
Okay. Well, it's not happening, so I don't want Trump to be president. So let's. I am at the point where I'm really like, as much as I want a fair system, we really can't have Trump as president.
I'm at the point where if everyone's so worried about Trump being president, you shouldn't have nominated you shouldn't have rigged the Democratic primary to put in an unlikable, shitty candidate.
Well,
It's not my problem.
even if that was done, we're still here where we are. So, and we're still like weeks away from having like the worst country ever.
I
I
don't
guess
care
worse
about
than what we have now. Ray writes, "Why would you not let your child major in history or gender studies or African American studies?"
Does he want him to have a job?
Yeah, I think that's kind of, unless they're planning on teaching one of those things. This website also that I mentioned before, Quora.com. Someone asked like, what's like the question was something like, what was something that you heard that was you thought was amazing, whatever how they rephrased it. Someone talked about, I remember when I was 11 years old, and this woman, she was pregnant, and I asked her, what sex she wanted the baby to be, and the woman just said, all I care, it doesn't matter what sex it is, all I care is that the baby's healthy. And she went on this whole rant from there saying how like it's all about, this woman understood that gender is just like a structure society makes. Gender's not really that important. And I was like, you're a fucking moron. Have you seen what people with like kids that are not healthy? That's why they're saying it, because it's like it just ruins your life if you have a kid that's not. I mean, it's horrible to have a kid that's not healthy.
Yeah.
And it's just that like that's so much more important than figuring out whether it's a boy or girl. It's not that they're discounting what gender means. You fucking moron.
Exactly.
I don't know. I read this thing and I just got really annoyed. I was like, you've just not had kids. Anyway,
Andrew wrote, would Mr. Brink Sanity still do the podcast if elected? And I'm saying the State of the Union address would be in podcast form going forward.
I think like no other president is going to put out
download it and leave a 5-star review on iTunes.
No other president is going to do a podcast, a weekly podcast. And you know what? If elected president, we will do 2 episodes a week, and we will probably have to put the next one on hiatus.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, maybe we'll still do the next one. I think if I become vice president, you're president, like we have to invest more in the podcast.
You know what? We could definitely afford an intern who could fix our audio issues.
You know what? I bet if Obama wants the podcast, he has no issue.
Exactly. Well, I don't know. He couldn't get his healthcare website working.
By the way, did you watch Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis and Hillary Clinton?
I did, yeah.
That was fucking amazing. I'm not going to spoil it by mentioning any jokes. Everyone should watch that. He's brilliant.
He claims that the guests don't know what he's about to say. I don't know if I believe that or not.
I think that's true.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think they're basically people, they've seen them before and they know to expect like absurdity. So they're not like, no one's like insulted or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we reading Eros Adventures?
No, he is the banned person from the...
But I can see his 3 questions here.
I don't care.
Are you sure?
He's banned. He's banned. We're not reading his stuff. Here's the thing. You can make fun of us. Don't make fun of other listeners in the chat.
Yes. On any kind of Facebook page, just don't rip on us as much as you want. Just rip on each other.
He was super, super nasty to another listener, and we're just not tolerating that. We only have like 6, 7 people that post. So everyone attacking each other is just...
We're never going to get to 14 people posting if you attack people.
Exactly. It's a zero tolerance policy on that. Everything else goes. The Negaverse is supposed to be negativity toward everyone else. We're supposed to be our own little community. We don't need everyone's... I don't want people to feel afraid to post in the group.
I don't know why. Like the next one, we get so many more people posting. Why can't we get people posting like that? Ray writes, first question realistically, how can I invest $1,000 and no Jew tactics to try to trick me of taking my money, Marks? He called me Marks also, which I what do you think? How do you invest $1,000? I'm going to say, well, Jay, you can go first.
I really kind of wish I knew more about the stock market. My buddy says he's doing all these call options on stocks and like making money on it. And I have no idea how to do any of that. And it seems like a really good way to make some money.
Couldn't we pay your buddy to invest money for us? Isn't that what people do? Is he really making money doing it? I think all that stuff is like...
I mean, he's not like rolling around in Benjamins, but he's making some money.
I feel like that stuff is like, there's a really good chance you're just going to like lose all your money eventually. It's like, oh, I'm making a lot of money here at the blackjack table.
Well, you got to diversify.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
That means you have...
No, I mean, I understand like you're supposed to, I don't know how you're supposed to, like, what am I actually supposed to do?
Well, if you have $1,000, you would put like $100 into 10 different things. So if one of them tanks, you still have 90% of your money.
Well, first I would say $1,000, you should look at what kind of debt you have. Because like if you have credit card debt, you should probably pay that off before you do anything else.
Yeah, you should have no debt before you start investing money.
Yeah. And then when you invest money, you should diversify, as Jay said.
Mm-hmm.
But what if the 10 different things aren't good investment? Like,
Well,
what if you buy...
why would you put money
No,
into not good investments?
You could put $1,000 to like a total money market fund, which invests in all the stocks in the market. Wouldn't you buy diversified by putting all your money in that one fund?
Isn't that one fund diversified?
Yeah.
Well, it's still diversified.
Yeah. Do you have to have a diverse range
You
of
don't
diverse
diversify
funds?
the diversification.
Yeah. I don't fucking know.
You don't even know what you're saying.
I don't know.
I feel like you're the one who's drinking this episode.
Okay, so we have some more questions. Sarah writes, who's in the chat room, I'm considering grad school. Talk me out of it, Jay.
Well, since you don't want any of the positives, I'll just tell you about all the negative things. First of all,
doesn't it depend on what she's going to grad school for?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, go on, Jay.
So, first of all, you can officially say goodbye to all your friends. You can give up any hobbies you have.
What if your hobby is podcasting?
If you remember when I was really in the middle of it, we had to keep canceling podcasts. 2013, we did 6 Brink episodes the entire year.
But how many Knicks episodes did we do that year?
I'd have to look it up. It was
probably a decent amount.
It wasn't as many as when we like the year before I started grad school. We did 72 Knicks episodes, and we didn't go anywhere near that when I was in grad school.
Okay.
You also you're gonna have a shitload of student loans no matter where you go. Even if you go to a cheap school, you're gonna have a bunch. You're gonna have no free time because after work you're gonna go to school, and then you're gonna have a gap in time, and basically you're gonna get home at like 10 o'clock at night.
So you have a lot of debt and no free time. What are the positives, Jay?
Don't know yet.
Okay, so that's like a to be continued question.
So that you could probably chalk that as a negative. The fact that I graduated and I still haven't seen a positive.
Well, there are a lot of different grad schools. You can go to grad school to become a doctor. Would that be worth it? as in our semi irregular guest, Doc.
Well, that's med school, and that's
grad school.
The doc hated it. He had to work.
He's a doctor now.
You know, he had to work 28-hour shifts.
Right, but he is the doctor.
He is.
Is that worth it?
He doesn't like being a doctor.
No? I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andrew wrote, and this is true, we had a 9-month break in 2013.
Why does he not like... I'm shocked that like anyone stuck with us. Why does Doc not like being a doctor?
Being a doctor sucks.
I would think that'd be a cool... I mean, I knowing not much about it, it'd be like, what do you do for a living? Save people's lives? Yeah, what do the fuck you do? I don't know what else would...
Conversely, do you ever go to a doctor when you have anything that you would want another human being to look at? It's always something gross.
Yeah. Should my penis look like that, sir?
Yeah, it's always something that's horrifying.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's definitely true.
It's
Uh,
you have to deal with like barf and shit and pus and just, like all these different
We got to ask Doc.
fluids.
It's got to be more to it. We got to ask Doc next time on the show why he does not like it. I'm very curious. I've heard doctors say they don't like doing it. Like, and I would think of all professions, at least you have a skill that really helps people.
Yeah, but it's disgusting.
But yeah, but I don't think that's it. I never heard a doctor go like, "Oh, I hate being a doctor because it's kind of gross."
I would if I was the doctor.
Could you ask Doc to come on the show so we can ask him?
Okay.
Yeah. So as far as grad school, I think it depends on what you're gonna do. But if you can get away with not doing, the thing is, I think you did it the right way. Your job paid for it,
Mostly, but everything else was still there. Then the no free time, the so far I haven't seen a reward, the horrible work, everything about it was terrible.
Okay. Let's go to next questions. Sarah writes, "What time does the live show start tonight?"
Also, you just started undergrad. Calm down.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to read that question.
How much motivation can one person have? You just started.
Oh,
undergrad
she
and
just
you're-
started college.
Yeah, and now you're thinking about grad school.
Sarah, what's your major?
How about take a year off from school and
Yes,
work
you
and
should
fe-
definitely work before you go to grad school. That I think
Yes.
is a definite.
because you want to have a little bit on your resume. You don't want to be like me and you're old and have nothing on your resume, and then you go back to school.
It's also you should have some real world experience to make sure you're sure you want to go to grad school, and it would probably save a little money to pay for grad school.
Right.
Andrew writes, "Did Mark start a GoFundMe page for his servants' wages? Do you think if Australia is up for it, I'm going to do it?" Check this box if you want Bride to come on the flight to Australia. Check this box if you want to take care of Mark's servants for the year. Are you laughing at me or the
You.
okay? I saw you like chatting with the.
Yeah, I've been typing the whole.
Why do you do this? Why do you have private
Because
conversations?
I am able
It is
to.
so fucking weird.
I am able to multitask like that.
How is that helpful? If you want to respond to someone,
because it
sit-
adds
you have
the-
a microphone in front of you to respond to them.
It adds
They can
to
hear
the-
you.
It adds to the live chat room experience, which should motivate people to join the live chat room.
Oh, it's taken off for us.
We have 3 people.
What did you type? What did you type?
It's more than just Steven doing a monologue. It's 3 people right now.
What did you type?
Sarah was talking about going to CUNY, and I said I spent a year at SUNY when I wasn't allowed at Northeastern.
Wow, and Studi and Cutie rhyme, and I felt like it was important to write that. Why didn't you just fucking tell everyone? Did you have your private
If
thoughts?
I
where you're
read
focused-
everything that was going on in the chat room, that would be the episode. There's been a lot of talking going on.
Maybe the show would be better if you spent your time motivated and just focused on the show to come up with brilliant stuff for the show instead of I want to write the most brilliant stuff possible to Sarah. Privately,
Was that the most brilliant thing possible?
It could have helped our show. We could have that could have been the golden moment.
I just wrote Mark is getting cranky. It's past his bedtime.
It is. Andrew writes, "Is professional mountain biking a sustainable career?"
Yeah, if you feel like being physically fit into your 70s.
Career.
Yeah, careers. I mean, how much money are you making on mountain biking? You're not going to retire at 30 like a NFL player. You'd
So
have
you're,
to, you'd have to do
oh,
that-
you're saying if you do it till you're 70.
Yeah, because you're not going to make enough money to retire until you're like 70 doing mountain biking.
You see, I think it's sustainable if you die really early because then you did it your whole life. Outside of that, I don't know how you make. I'm sure people make money. Do people make money in mountain biking? I know there's competitions, then people must.
Dave Mira,
I'm sorry, what?
was that a mountain biking guy? Dave Mira?
I know zero biking. I know less about my mountain biking than I know about finance. Andrew writes, "How do I become rich enough to have servants like Mark does?"
Well, that's a you question.
Oh, well, well, you have kids, and both you and your wife work, and I don't know. It just kind of works out that way,
Great. It sounds like you laid out the blueprint step by step.
step by step. John writes, well, if your wife wants to work, Well, one of you has to take care of the kids, so one of you, I don't know.
Not if you
I just
have,
I think it's just really funny that now I sound like I have servants.
not if you have a nanny crime ring.
Yeah. Well, I'm part of a nanny crime ring, so which is no. There's been no updates on that end, by the way. So we're just kind of we're hoping nothing. We're hoping there's no more. We've already had more updates than we want on that end, actually. John writes, if you're eating a plate of French fries with ketchup, do you squirt the ketchup in a pile next? By the way, that was all our financial questions. By the way, we really really covered. It was mostly just like why college sucks. If you're eating a plate of French fries with ketchup, do you squirt the ketchup in a pile next to the fries so you can dip them, or are you a piece of fucking shit that squirts ketchup all over the fries?
I read that at work and I literally laughed out loud.
I'd say, tell me you're not a piece of shit.
I am a put a pile on the side for dipping. Yes.
I never understood because they're like, you would always ruin some. You're gonna have a fry covered in ketchup.
Well, that and it's messy. Like you're picking up the fry and you get your fingers all ketchupy, and there's just a lot going on when you spread it all over the place.
Do you think if one of the two presidential candidates puts the ketchup on the side and one spreads the ketchup all over the French fry, that could determine who you vote for?
That might swing my vote. Yeah. And then if you don't get to the fry quick enough, then you have a soggy fry because it's been sitting in a puddle of ketchup.
I might. If Hillary did that and Trump just dipped, I might vote for Trump because that just means Hillary has to be a piece of shit if she does that. Sarah writes, I honestly didn't even see the comment, but since it was shitty, thank you for the banning. Okay. Sarah writes, best way to reject someone.
Oh, you're reading these in like reverse order.
Oh, I don't give a shit, Jay.
Well, that comment you read before didn't make sense until you read the first one.
Okay, fine.
So, best way to reject somebody, I would say straight up honesty.
Well, I think depends on how long you So this is
well,
so
like,
there's-
okay. So you're at a bar, and a guy walks up to you and he's like, "Is that tag? Let me see that tag on your shirt because it probably says made in heaven."
then I tell the guy I'm not gay, but I like cliche lines, so let's go home together. Well,
You say, "Are you tired? Because you've been running from me all night."
what are you, a rapist? I think you got the line wrong.
Yeah, no, that one didn't work.
What's the best way to reject someone? Well, how honest do you want to be? Like, do you want to go on a date with me? No, you're ugly. Shouldn't you be a little not honest? If you were single,
No, I mean
and
you can't be honest enough to like say you're ugly, but I mean
if you're single and you're in a bar, you shouldn't be honest to anyone that tries that. You should just be like straightforward with them, but in a dishonest way.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, okay, if you're single in a bar, most of it's very superficial. So I assume you're just rejecting people because they're ugly.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't say that to that person. So you should be less than straightforward. Just be like, "Oh, I would date you, but I'm married. Oh, where's your ring? I gotta run." Just lie. Just make something up. Oh, I would date you.
Okay, well, more details have come to light.
What?
He's a really good friend.
Oh, okay. So
That's totally different. That's a totally different situation.
Okay, so we're gonna assume really good friend,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Hey, Sarah, you know how like we were hanging out as friends? What if we did that naked?"
I had a situation like that. Only I was in the guys. Situation.
That's weird, man. We played a guy. What was your story, Jay? Share your personal
It
anecdote.
was the same thing. We were really good friends for a long time, and I asked her out, and she said,
Oh, I thought you were saying a girl did the. Oh, I thought you were saying the reverse. That like the girl had asked you out. Go on with your story, Jay.
and she said she doesn't want to go out on a date because she feels like we would be too perfect together, and she basically tiptoed around the fact that she wanted to be a whore for a little while.
She's like, I want to do some fucking of pretty much everyone but you.
Right. I just want to just go on this big fucking spree. And if I had a boyfriend, I couldn't be that big of a whore.
Oh, my legs have an open sign, just not for you.
Right.
Did you ever hook up with her?
We made out for a while one night.
I did that. I did that once and dated the girl for a little while, but I have to say I feel like it's. I don't know. They say like a. I don't know. Like, do you think is it bad or good if you were friends first?
I think it's good. Because then you don't have to do all the small talk bullshit.
I don't know. It's kind of weird though. You switch roles.
It's almost like nothing changed except now you could bang.
No, you switch roles. Originally, you're friend and guy that wants to fuck a girl so she gives in, and now you're just boyfriend girlfriend. And I feel like changing roles is, I don't know. I only had the experience of doing that way, but my wife, we only knew each other as dating, and that worked out really well. I don't know. Your current girlfriend, did you know her in a friendship capacity?
Yeah, for like years.
Oh, I don't know anything about you. Yeah, I guess it could work both ways. I don't really know.
Okay, so now she's saying he's been hinting at it, but he hasn't outright like asked her out.
How is hinting? He's like, "Oh, it's been fun hanging out with you.
As
who wants to touch my cock?"
He's probably been like, "Oh, it's been really great hanging out as friends. Imagine we were hanging out, but it wasn't as friends." Can you imagine that scenario ever happening?
Wow, we get along so well. I wonder what it would be like if I was like inside you. Just saying.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean?
Actual nudge, nudge. I think she could does she want to save the friendship?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, I feel like all those situations with
The girl always wants to save the friendship.
Okay, so here's a question: your current significant other, when you guys were just friends,
Yeah.
was we really just friends, or did you just want to fuck her the whole time and like you wanted her while you guys were friends?
No.
You guys were just like you never noticed her.
Right. I would actually ask her for dating advice and like, should I wear this shirt when I go out? And
Okay.
yeah.
Because I feel like most of the time it's really like they became friends because like the girl just went like.
Most of the time, the guy wants to bang the girl, and he just got friend zoned, and that's why they're friends. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I kind of think it is. And I guess like the one situation I had where we didn't work out, it had nothing to do with the fact that like we were friends first. It was more that she was like annoying as hell to hang out with. Or I guess it got more annoying. Yeah, I don't know how the best way. I guess like for the girl probably wants to save the friendship because she thought they were friends to begin with.
Right. I think you need to like friend zone him in a very significant way.
Yeah, I think just be like, I think you should make it clear to him. Like, don't you know? I also hate those girls that have all these guy friends because they give the signals that every guy thinks they can fuck them. Or like every. No offense to you,
it's really obvious hinting.
Is his penis out, Sarah?
So, yeah, I think you're gonna have to like really just be completely obvious about it. Like, my friend Beth is friends with this guy. Like we're friends. Like really just like lay it out there. Like, they're best friends. Like we're friends, and she wants to go out with this other guy. Like I want to go out with some other guy, and it's kind of like the same situation. Like really just.
That's really hinting. That's a good hint back. I would have said like, what's great about hanging out with you? I never want to have anything romantic with you. You should make it clear though. I feel like there's a certain amount of like girls lead guys on though.
No, I don't. I just think it's like most guys want to fuck their female.
No,
friends
no. But I feel like I feel like a lot of times the situation though, because the girl is like a little flirtatious, but like she wants to keep the guy friend.
No, I think it's really just.
You never think the girl has any blame, where she like leaves that signal, but the guy thinks like if he works, so it might work out.
No, 99% of the time I had female friends, it was just me wanting to bang them, and
Well, no. I agree with that portion of it, but I feel like the girl kind of like, I don't know. I feel like she has something to blame also. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I think you really have to just make a flat out statement about how you two are really good friends. Use the like a brother line. That'll do it.
Because I also feel like there are girls out there just like don't like seem to like be aware that the guys around them want to fuck them, and that part drives you crazy.
That is true. They are clueless. Yeah,
That's the clueless thing. Like, so you shouldn't be the clueless. Like, you should just be
but
like,
she's not because she knows now.
you're just like a brother. Any chance there was like incest in your family?
A brother like South Carolina brother, or
Was it like a black brother? Yeah, you should just
use
have-
the brother line.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good question though. Ray. Oh, that was the last question for the show, I guess.
All right.
Since Steven deleted all his questions, it made it a lot easier.
Yeah,
to read all.
took out like 20 questions.
I don't know why. I don't know why Steven was obsessed with doing that, but okay, Steven. We would have read your questions. I don't know why you're angry at us, Steven. Okay. Do you have anything else you want to cover, Jay? Do you want to keep us on the air till like 12 o'clock?
No, I think we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, I just finished my last beer too. So, thank you all for listening. Thanks for joining the room.
What did we learn today?
Sarah says she calls him man all the time. I think you need to call him bro.
I think you need to call him. You're like, why don't you call him like your sister? That would be better. You're just like another sister. That would really put him in his place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she said she wants to keep the friendship. I think just saying you're like a brother to me. Say I love you like a brother. That's it. That it's over after that. Right? There's no coming back from that. You can't turn that around.
Or just like, I'm glad we can just be friends and tell each other about all the people we want to have sex with, not you.
I'll go first.
Do you talk about other guys with him? 'Cause I feel like that's part of putting him in the zone.
Yeah, but that's like slow torture. I mean, it'll get the point across, but that's like slow torture. Just like get it over with. Just one flat out statement.
Have you heard the Chris Rock joke about the dick in the jar? He's like, girls have like all these guy friends, like they're the dick in the jar. They want to break out for in case they need them later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that never happens though.
I would say, Sarah, if there's no chance you ever want to actually be with him, just be kind of clear about it in some way. Because, just let him out of his misery.
Yeah.
Then he can move on to someone else that he actually might.
Not sleep with them.
Someone,
You can move on to the next person that won't sleep with them.
yeah, he can move on to the next awkward conversation, his next awkward friendship.
Yes, definitely keep us updated, Sarah.
What did we learn today? We learned that Jay chugged 3 beers prior to his Monday work.
I like to start the work week off slightly hungover and very tired.
It's only going to go uphill from here.
No, I'm actually trying to get rid of all the beers, so I'm not tempted to buy it during the week.
That's my explanation, boss, why I'm not going to get the project done today. Okay. Anything else we learned today?
No, I think we learned nothing. We
learned a lot of financial advice.
I think next episode's going to be our love advice episode. We're going to try and get Peter on so that we have 3 guys that haven't dated in like 7 to 8 years giving dating advice.
Wait, Peter's going to come on the show?
Yeah, he said he wanted to come on the show.
What did his wife say?
I think she's going to be okay with this one.
There's no way he's coming on. There's either he's going to come on the show, he's not going to come on the show like last minute, or he's going to come on the show and then she's going to ask us not to release the show.
Well, I'll do what I usually do. I'll hold the episode for 24 hours, say I cut out everything she disapproved of, and then I'll put the episode up.
Could we do the entire episode about retarded love?
Sure. I don't care. I do it every time. I just say, yeah, I cut all that stuff out, and then I just put the episode up.
Right. I won't use her name, but Peter's wife. I hope you. I hope you don't mind that we did the entire episode about retards in love. I know that's a topic that you really. We called the episode "Tard Love." Okay, we're out.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Brink of Sanity 3 on Twitter, thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com, The Brink of Sanity on Skype, where you can leave a voicemail. Also, 631-676-1181. You could leave a voicemail that way, too.
Can we do an experiment right now?
Facebook page, live room, ustream.tv/channel/the-brink-
Oh, God.
Sanity.
Okay, is anyone writing this down?
Why do you always cut me off when I get to the end of that one? That's the longest one. You always cut me off when I do that one.
Oh, God. Here's an experiment. I want to do an experiment. A really quick experiment. Can you give out the Gmail account for Brink and the password and see what happens?
Andrew said we all know Randy and should just ban her from 5 miles for the show.
Okay, as long as your shillings know Randy. Could you give out the Gmail for Brink and the password?
Why? Just see if it gets hacked?
Just see what happens. Wouldn't it be amusing? We're just giving away. We're opting into hacking.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
You're an asshole.
Bye, love.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. It's all over.
Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.